We're back. O State, we're so back.
Yeah, about to go into the winners match here of Group B after two 2-0s. Dark versus DRG, a lot longer than I was anticipating from a GDZ with these guys. They both really wanted a gun for the mid game and the late game. And for Dark, that makes a lot of sense, especially against the guys going up right now, Creator. I mean, Creator, his PvZ has been so scary for so long.
Oh, yeah.
It's been his best matchup since back when we were teammates on Prime. Like, I don't even know how many years ago that was. Getting old, but he's somebody that can kind of do it all. I wouldn't say he's the best PvZ player, but he has the widest range of builds, in my opinion. I mean, he's somebody that can do really greedy play, which we've seen before in GSL, where he will try to survive with as few units as possible and go into Sky Toss as quickly as possible. We've seen him go for really cheeky all-ins as well. I mean, this guy can really just throw a mixed bag of builds at you. And you kind of got to prepare for anything, whereas Dark, I feel like he is such a good late game player in ZVP.
Yeah, I just don't feel like he has a real weak point in ZVP. Not one that I can see. Like, honestly, anytime he ever loses his ZVP, I'm like, well, look at that. I guess he can be beaten after all. Look, Creator had a crazy upset. He beat Hero 2-0. Maybe he can do it here with Dark. Honestly, I think that'd be a lot more exciting. Let's see if it's possible now.
Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. You looking for trouble? Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Tell them it's going down now. Let's.
All right, Creator spawning as the blue Protoss in the bottom left, Dark the red Zerg in the top right, and I actually wasn't paying attention to the maps because usually it is so basic here in the GSL, but we actually have Post-Youth as the first map in this best of three.
That's where I'm at in my life right now.
I'll be joining you soon. It's most of the people watching this.
I'm right. Yeah, that's our viewership right now. It's right in their Post-Youth.
Yeah, we're all old StarCraft fans just waiting for Father Time to take us.
And they say that when you get into your Post-Youth, you still haven't grown out of liking StarCraft. I guess that doesn't go away.
But man, this is a surprising selection. I wish I could actually go into. I'm sure I could find it if I wanted to, but I wish I can go see. Oh, look at this! We have some talented artists out here. That's photorealistic.
Hydra right there.
Yeah, welcome everybody.
Good to have you guys down here.
But
sorry.
No. I was just gonna say it is so unusual to have Post-Youth. I don't really know how this plays out, partly because I veto Post-Youth. I want to watch the pro gamers play on it and struggle. I don't want to struggle myself when I'm grinding the ladder.
Well, it's funny because usually, we'll never have that map picked until we're in a best of 7 in Game 7. It's happened to me in Artosis a couple times. We'll look at the map before a season, and then it's literally like 9 weeks of not having that map, and then we're in the finals and we see it, and we're like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot the inner workings of this map.
I would have loved to see the draft to see who was playing the game of chicken in terms of, are you going to veto Post-Youth or am I going to veto it?
Oh, so just so everybody understands this, there's kind of a mini game that goes on with pro gamer map selections, because sometimes you have like 2 maps that you don't want to play on, but you can be pretty sure that your opponent also doesn't want that map. And so you won't veto that map because you're kind of banking on him almost vetoing it for you. But then what happens is both players bet on that, and then neither of them veto it, and then you're playing on that map to start things off.
It's a very common, very awkward situation, especially if your opponent is smart enough, which I never was when I was playing, partly why I never had any success. But if your opponent is smart enough to actually have a build just specially in store for that map in case that happens, can be really deadly. So I wonder if this map happening is just both these players naturally expecting the other guy to veto it, or if one or even both of them have a build up their sleeves specifically for Post-Youth in this situation. And for Creator, it's a really fast robo coming out. Very fast robotics facility. I want to see how much gas is actually mining there from the main base. Whether it's full saturation or not. I think it might be full. But I am very curious about where this build is going to go here for Creator, because keep in mind, one of the reasons why Post-Youth is a map that's often banned is because it has this awkward scaling and macro with these 3 gold mineral patches in the natural expansion.
That's right. So, I mean, this is going to sound silly, but it is important to point out, when you have those extra gold mineral patches, you just kind of barrel into a lot of minerals really fast. But, you know, like for Zerg, obviously that kind of pairs up nicely with roaches. Roaches are very mineral intensive and not too much gas. But it does, I'm not sure, you know, what this really means for each matchup to have this. I do welcome maps like this. I think ASL was doing this a little bit better than GSL, and GSL has finally caught up. We actually need to have some weirdness on some maps, guys.
I think with the new map features that are potentially going to come out in the next rotation of maps, because the patch kind of teased these features such as healing zone, such as worker-only paths, we're going to get a little bit more of a creative mix. And I'm right there with you, even though this is one of the maps that I will veto as a player. I want to see the pros play on it. I want to see them figure it out because it's so unique. It's so interesting. And for a moment, I thought Creator was going to go for some really heavy aggression with his Warp Prism off of the fast robo, but instead it's just going to be light pressure. 2 Adepts coming in. Dark is in a good position to kind of push this away, and he's actually respecting the threat of a push quite a bit. 3 Spore Crawlers in production, 16 more Lings in production in addition to what he already has on the field. In fact, Creator is very close to actually having a worker advantage just because of how much Dark is respecting the threat of a potential timing.
Yeah.
And it is going to be a timing attack on 2 bases. 4 more gateways in production, and it's going to be +1 with charge.
You know, Creator has always had, I think, the biggest range of play for Protoss. Like, I do feel, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm like slowly becoming like a hero fan because I want him to win after so many GSLs. But I will say, after, he doesn't see the other 2. Just to get this out here, like, I think I see more builds with Hero than literally any other Protoss in the world.
With Creator, you mean? With
Creator, yeah.
Especially in PBZ, I'm right there with you. This guy has such a wide range.
Yeah, like, this is really cool that he fakes a 2-base timing attack only to have a later 2-base timing attack. Like, I really like it.
And it's smart because it slows down the Zerg's economy a little bit, and that hurts their chances of defending the push later because they didn't have that opportunity to really scale that well. But Dark, he's playing this very smart as the Adepts continue to pick off drones. Should be able to get at least 1 more. Yeah, 2 in total. He's going for a Baneling's Nest very quickly. And against the kind of timing attack that Creator is going to go for here, he's going to be laning so heavily onto Sentries and onto Zealots. And while the Banelings aren't quite as effective on the Sentries anymore as they used to be, the fact that a good Baneling connection could just spell disaster for these Zealots is really going to play to Dark's advantage. So I feel like he's kind of developing the tools that he needs back at home to stop this push in its tracks. And it's going to be 5 Immortals in total, Tasteless.
Yeah, that's a lot.
5 Immortals with +1 Zealots. +1 Zealots, they 2-shot Lings instead of 3-shot them.
Did he see any of the Immortals before? I mean, I know he sees it now, but like before this was coming out? Because
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's so Dark is going to be producing more Lings and Banelings, but it's really going to be the Baneling connections we have to look for. It's the Baneling connections and whether the Lings are going to be able to kind of avoid the Zealots and get surrounds on the Roaches, because if the Roaches are attacking Lings instead of Roaches, that's a big win here for Creator. But the Baneling connections, above all else, you have to keep an eye on them. If the Zealots run this without any Banelings to thwart them, Creator will just...
Dude, Hallucinated Archon, I love it.
Destroy this army, and there's so many force fields available here, 2 Tasteless. Look at that!
Yeah, no Baneling speed, by the way.
So this like a dozen force fields.
He needs to push a little bit more than this.
I love the Zealot staying in the back, by the way.
Yeah.
Creator just leveraging all the range. Oh, he might go for those Queens on the top side. All right, attack coming in. Force field's impeccable.
Yeah, takes out 1 Bane. He's going to advance. He's going to send some Zealots in. Now, the force fields are going to lock him out, but it's only going to be for a second or 2.
Creator's playing this so patiently. Another round of force fields going to be able to stop those Banelings from getting the connections. He's trying to divide the army in 2, and he's successfully doing it. Only a couple of force fields left. And now the Zealots coming on the top side. There's no Banelings there, and Creator identifies that, so they're going to be mopping up the Lings and the Queens. And look at this sprint. Is this Marine King Prime? This is insane.
The sprint.
The sprint. The sprint, Tasteless.
That was insane. So the Banelings, there's 2 left over. The Zealots are being, they were being separated. A couple more Baneling hits connect.
There's no Banelings left for Dark. I think he's trying to morph in a couple more. No, he isn't. It's just Roaches and Lings. Creator controlled this push so well. He warped into Sentries so early. He had so much energy to work with. And Dark just got destroyed by this timing attack.
That was really exciting. What a cool build, by the way.
5 Immortals plus 1 Charge Zealots and an MC level of sentries. That was so many force fields.
I love the force field right at the ramp, too. It's like, oh, yeah, I guess because he's trying to keep everything separated, he's unintentionally just zoned himself out of protecting his third base.
That Creator pushed so patiently with the ranged units that Dark, you could tell he was trying to set up this arc to fight Creator closer to the 4th base, or where the 4th base would have been. But because Creator pushed so patiently, it was very slowly just sectioning off pieces of Dark's army. Dark continuously had to micro back, and eventually he kind of put himself into a corner where the Queens were isolated on the top side. They couldn't retreat up the ramp because it's one force field to separate that ramp from the rest of the army. And Creator with just perfect patience was able to push through and demolish a Dark who had worked his way into the army composition that he needed, but Creator's army just had too much firepower and the engagement was perfect. Let's see if Creator can clean this one up on Site Delta. We're going to game number 2.
Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. You looking for trouble? Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Tell them it's going down now. Let's
Okay, Creator in the bottom right and Dark in the top left. Wow, what a cool game from Creator. You know, when he's on, he really does look just so good.
He's been looking incredible today.
And, you know, the thing with Creator is it's never been like his build orders don't make sense. In fact, I really do think he has some of the best builds in all of StarCraft 2. And he does show a real range of play. Like, he can do macro games versus Zerg where he'll like go for carriers and turtle and play a very slow game. Or he'll do these crazy timing attacks like that one we've basically never seen before. The issue usually with Creator is if he doesn't hit all his marks. Idra was like this, actually. Like, if Idra fumbled the build early on, he would just, like, rage quit and leave. And with Creator, he's not going to rage quit and leave, but he is going to rage. And then what happens when you rage is then you go, okay, now I'm mad at myself for raging. And then, you know, you get thrown off. And so in the years, decade plus, I guess, that I've been casting Creator, I've seen these games where he, like, for the first half of the day plays like a god and then loses a War Prism somewhere in the series, and instead of kind of, you know, misstepping for a second and then getting right back in the action, then it goes downhill. I want to see if that happens again today, because he's basically, he's 3-0 today. He just smashed Dark in a timing attack, which I can't even really remember the last time I've seen Dark lose to a Protoss, just sort of having enough units at a certain moment and pushing. So, I mean, and look, I think it's almost cooler if we have Creator in the Final Four.
Oh, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, that's a very cool narrative.
He is playing out of his mind right now. And, I mean, his PvC's always been world-class. He's always been one of the best PvC players in the world. But given how good he looked even against Hero in that opening set, I kind of want to see his PvT. And that's what we would get if he advances to the top 4, because Maru and Kira, they're waiting for the semifinalists.
Yeah.
From Group B on opposite sides of the bracket. The winner of this group going to go up against Maru. The loser of this group going to go up against Kira, who did place first in Group A last week. I want to see more of Creator playing like this. I feel like he's playing some of the best StarCraft we've seen from him in a very long time today.
Yeah, he's looked really, really good. So this game, obviously, it's going to be a different one just because of the map itself and the way it's designed.
By the way, very smart of Creator to keep this adept back instead of shading it forward to get some scouting off. Was able to prevent those 2 Lings from getting into the main base. It's going to be an Oracle coming in from Creator. This is looking a lot more standard in terms of PvZ. Dark, his Overlord, has been kind of skirting the outside of Creator's base. Keep in mind, in game number 1, Creator did go for a relatively fast Stalker. I think it was Adept Stalker that he opened with on post-Youth. And Dark, it seems he kind of has that in the back of his head with how passive he's being with this Overlord scouting. He does not want to risk losing this Overlord in case there is a Stalker in the main base of Creator. And as a result, he's not going to get the scout off on the Oracle.
Yeah. But I don't know how much this is going to get done here.
Huh.
So 3 Adepts up here at the front. Dark is continuing to drone up heavily. And we're going to have the probe come out here to make the 3rd base.
Creator playing this very patiently. He's actually just waiting until he has a second Oracle coming out to go for the harassment, and until then, this Oracle just on guard duty in case there was a big Ling Flood coming in from Dark on that third. Smart, patient move coming in from Creator. Second Oracle about to finish. Third one in production. Let's see if he moves out with these 2 Oracles. 5 Queens out for Dark, 1 more in production. I feel like with 2 Oracles like this, there should be some angles where Creator can get 4, maybe even 5 drones. We'll have to see. Because typically the first Oracle on its own is able to get 2 or 3. That's kind of the trade that you get. Oh, Creator being very patient. I think if he dived there, he would have gotten 3 or 4 drones at least. But he did not know there wasn't a Spore Crawler, so instead going to work his way through the middle. But Dark's Queen movement just really on point.
Yeah, a very quiet game to start things off.
Oh.
He's going to send some Adepts up here now with the 2 Oracles. When you have 2 Oracles like this and the Adepts are in the middle of the map, the Lings can never kill them. You know.
And I wonder if he's just going to shade forward because there aren't that many Lings out on the map right now. More are in production, 10 more in production in fact.
He's going to. This is basically like Terran with 2 Medivacs and Marines just killing creeps, creep tumors. Behind this, you know, we have the +1 attack upgrade. We've got some more gateways coming down here. So Creator's setting up to be in a really healthy spot on the 3 bases that he's got.
And I love how passive he's being with these Adepts and Oracles. He's just taking map control, but he's not overcommitting.
Look at that, where that second pylon is placed on the left, just ready for like a ton of gateways to just be made over there. Perfect real estate for mass gateways a little bit later on.
He's also up against Dark, so it's a good idea to have a pylon in the corner.
It also sees Nidus networks.
Yeah, I feel like Dark does a Queenling Nidus at least 1 game every PvZ series. These Oracles still with full HP coming in. Barely any damage on them at all.
Yeah, just a little bit on the hull just now. But overall, he's been very, very conservative with the Oracle movement.
Yeah, and oftentimes
we'll see a third Oracle
player
back at home, by the way.
Yeah, just playing it very defensively. Yeah. Oftentimes we'll see Protoss players just kind of trade out the hull of the Oracle for 2 or 3 drones. You'll get that Oracle down to maybe 2 or 3 hits away from dying from a Queen and then back off. And that's worth it for the couple of drone damage. But Creator's just been really prioritizing the hit points on these Oracles. He wants to use them basically all game long. Because he hasn't really activated the Pulsar Beam, I think, even once, the energy attack on those Oracles, he's going to have a lot of energy back at home to set up stasis traps, and he's basically playing for at least the mid game with the double Robo coming in. 4th base already getting set up. Photon Cannons warping in. This is Creator playing a nice passive macro PvZ.
Some shades coming up, basically trying to see, you know, is there any tech being revealed here? We have some Hydralisks being morphed. Look at this little attack over here. He should be able to... Oh, no, I guess he can't kill this. I'm sorry.
There's a little bit too many Roaches and Lings, I think, here for Creator.
But he can set up a little foothold out here if he wants. Protoss taking a 4th base means we're not going to have the, you know, the big climactic push just yet. He is doing a good job killing these creep tumors, though.
Yeah, and with no melee attack coming in from Dark and a relatively low Ling count, there isn't really much he can do to push away these units. Look at the creep spread in the center of the map. It's been very good in front of the 3rd and the 4th, but over here where Creator has been patrolling, there's basically no creep spread at all. I mean, the defense has just been, or not the defense, but the creep denial has been so on point for Creator thus far this game. Now, double Colossus in production. This is a little bit scary for Creator, though, because Dark's Hive Tech is so quick. He's already getting Lurkered in up. Vipers have started, and Vipers are kind of the answer that Zerg has to a Robobig army of Protoss. Abduct's coming in, especially before High Templar are on the field, and feedback is a viable option to try to kind of zone out those Vipers, is a huge threat to the Protoss army, and given the fact that Thermal Lance is only just now starting, I don't think we're going to see Creator move across the map until he has at least 4 Colossi out, and now Dark, he's hitting a power spike, so he's going to be able to chase down these Stalkers. The Oracles were not guarding them that well, so a couple will fall to the Lings. But this timing is looking a little bit scary. I think Creator is kind of trying to gun for a +2 timing with a ton of Colossi and Stalkers, but if those Vipers gather enough energy, this could be an anti-timing almost. Nidus Canal also coming in. Lurkers are coming online, but Creator, if he attacks right now before those Vipers get a lot of energy and before Dart's army is able to max.
This could be the perfect timing. The Lings are going to come in. The Stalkers are a little bit too far forward here. He needs to get these Colossi up here. They do eventually meet up. He's got the whole area behind himself littered with stasis wards. So Zerg, there's no way that Zerg can know about that. You could suspect it, right? If you see Oracles, you know that that's a possibility in the game.
Now he knows about the Vipers. First Abduct coming in, second Abduct as well. Those two Colossi get taken out. Oh, barely saved on 1 HP. That Colossi is going to be able to survive. But still, the standing army on the ground here for Dark is so big. I mean, this is what I was talking about with those Vipers. They're just able to really spell disaster for the Ro.8 army. Unless you have counterplay here as Protoss, it's difficult to make it happen. Oh, the War Prism gets taken off by the Viper.
That was awesome.
That great micro there by Dark. Again, one of the best spellcaster micro Zergs we have.
Yeah, 100%. He manages to swipe that War Prism with the Colossus in it. He takes it out. And, I mean, it does feel like Creator just has a lot less presence in this game now. Dark is essentially maxed out. And, you know, a lot of the complex parts of the army for Creator here have been wiped out. He's starting back again from zero here. He's going Immortal Disruptor, but I think it's going to be a while before, oh, well, and here's the crazy thing. He's going to warp in, or Nidus right by that if he can get in there.
Yeah, Dark trying to set up attacks everywhere he possibly can as Creator is going to be hammering the fourth base. Oh, these Disruptor shots could be good, but Dark notices. Nice splits mitigating the damage. Another Nidus going to connect at the fourth base of Protoss as Dark is eventually going to deflect these Stalkers attacking his fifth. Looks like on the minimap there is a Zealot run by as well towards the 12 o'clock expansion, but I feel like Creator might have just taken a little bit too much damage. I don't think he can stabilize from this position. There really isn't an army on the ground that can deal with Lurkers, especially now that they have range and missile attack level 2. I feel like we're seeing the dying breaths of Protoss in this game.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he had, I think, an interesting lead up, but Dark, you know, he is kind of the king at not dying to pushes. So, a great game. Dark ties it up 1-1. Just one more game remaining to decide who is going to be advancing here into the round of 4. I think Creator is going to be really hungry to try to win this. You know, he is a player that, you know, sometimes he gets, you know, round of 8 or deep. Sometimes he doesn't. And, you know, he's been playing in GSL for 13 years. Let's see what kind of build he can come out with here. Dark is basically, like, consistently always top 3 in Korea, right? It's been like that forever. There's definitely seasons he is #1. But, you know, I think Creator went for a very straightforward, orthodox, macro PBZ, and he tried to do it against the best of the best. Maybe he can try something a little bit weirder.
We're going to go to Oceanborn for game number 3. This game's getting ready to load up. Creator, a player that kind of plays with his heart on his sleeve, did not seem too shaken up from that game. He is still ready to go here as we lock in for game number 3. The winner of this map is going to face Maru in the round of 4. Will it be Creator? Will it be Dark? Let's find out. Our game is loading in.
Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. You looking for trouble? Let's get ready to rumble, rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Tell them it's going down now. Let's.
All right, bottom right is Creator, top left is Dark. Yeah, I like that Creator tried that build there, but I think, you know, again, Dark kind of reasserting why he's just, it's hard to play standard play and beat him. You know what I mean? He's, I think maybe do something cheesy, maybe do something weird. I think another timing could be good, but you can't do the same kind of cool timing we saw in game 1. Because obviously that map is, you know, one of a kind.
Yeah, and I think for Creator, that timing attack, it's one that we see relatively often for Protoss players in Korea. It's not exactly meta, but going for 2 Colossus and Blink Soccer is relatively early like that, and then building to 4 Colossi with +2 in Thermal Lance.
Yeah.
It's the kind of attack that can absolutely kill a Zerg if you gain momentum, but Dark didn't really suffer any damage in the early game. Creator did a good job of controlling the creep, but he didn't really kill any drones, and Dark, being the late game enjoyer that he is in ZVP, getting the very fast hive. Unfortunately for Creator, Vipers are the answer for the tech, and I think that's why Creator wasn't really distraught after losing that map the way that we sometimes see him be after he loses a game like that, because at the end of the day, I mean, he just had Vipers out. That is the answer to the timing attack that you were trying to go for. You missed the window. It's not the kind of gut-wrenching moment that we see Creator kind of get himself tied up in a knot about if you lose the Warp Prism with Disruptors or something like that early on in the game, or if he suffers some kind of unforgivable blow in his own eyes because he holds himself in very high esteem. So I'm happy that Creator is going to be coming into Game 3 with kind of a clear head. And I don't think we're going to see the same timing attack coming in from Creator in this one.
Yeah, I don't think he can do it. I mean, so far this build looks similar, but let's see what kind of game he's going to bring us here.
I mean, it's the cookie cutter macro PBZ opener, right?
But, you know, maybe he goes for carriers or something like that here.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. It's like what Creator did in that last game, that is like a very, how do I say this? If I was going to teach somebody PBZ, I'd probably be like, run this build. It's
so funny you say that because Estrella taught me that build with replays of him. I think him versus Rex. This is like last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. It's the kind of build that you teach somebody.
Yeah.
You get the third base, you get the Colossus up, and you go for the slow that kills them.
You know, sometimes when you have like a friend that's learning, you're like, okay, I know that like 2-base timing attacks are fun, but like you need to learn this other way to play.
Yeah.
Because you're just like learning how to play around normal play. Like I had that problem too. I like always want to do these kind of weird things I saw pro gamers do, and eventually I'm like, okay, I need to like just play the game normally.
Yeah, it's so funny. You kind of hit the nail on the head right there. It's exactly that kind of build.
And so I think he went for that, but I don't think that's going to work against Dark. I think you need to have your own kind of twist involved here. But I think maybe Carrier late game. You know, Creator actually, I feel like I've seen him almost never lose with Carriers late game versus Zerg.
Like almost a stats caliber level of late game.
Yeah, where I almost look at it and I go, why don't you just do this more?
Yeah, I feel like we mostly see him do it on maps that are a little bit easier to split than Oceanborn.
Yeah.
Like Alcyone is the kind of map that springs to mind. I believe he did that in GSL Season 1, I think, of this year, or was the last GSL of last year? I mean, they all start to blend together after a while, but he's really shown some great split map late game PBZ. I would love to see it from him again. I feel like if we don't see it in this game, and if Creator goes to a loser's match, if he plays against DRG, I know it's a lot of ifs, but if he gets another PBZ series, we're definitely going to see at least one of those maps, I think, from Creator. He's just so good at that style. He's one of the best Sky Toss players in the world, I think. And it's hard to execute it the way that Creator does, because you kind of need to thread the needle in terms of not making too many low-tech units, which sounds simple, but if you're up against a Zerg that is relatively aggressive, it's hard to do, especially one that's trying to pull you apart with attacks and a bunch of different spots on the map.
Yeah.
And Creator is one of the best players in the world at just knowing exactly the right amount of static defense at each base, shield batteries and cannons, having the perfect spread of Archons and Templar at those expansions to mitigate the threat of any kind of counterattacks coming in. Great Oracle harassment coming.
Jeez.
Oh, you really wanted that fourth Trone. Was that a transfuse on the Trone?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, 3 is acceptable, 4 is not.
So, I mean, right now this is the same build.
Mm-hmm.
We could see a deviation. I guess we got to wait for the Robos to start and see, you know, if he's going to really just try to do the same thing again. You know, it's also possible when you cast these games, sometimes, like, there's some glaring build order error. Those are always, like, really evident to the player and not obvious to, like, casters and observers, where, like, maybe he, like, missed a pylon somewhere while we're talking, or
that's possible.
Just got, like, some tech up later that he thought the building made, and then he goes back and he's like, oh, and just starts it anyways, and maybe that's why the timing wasn't good. Maybe he does actually the same thing, but it's just, like, faster. Bigger, better, faster, stronger.
Another thing is if Creator does decide to go for the same opening set of units and structures, if these steps do get caught by the Lings, one of them will fall. Oh, even the second one dies.
Mm-hmm.
Nice catch there by Dark, but back to the point, as long as Creator is scouting actively, if he sees the Hive timing and he goes for the same build, he should be able to abandon ship, basically, and not full commit to the Colossus timing attack. Because you play back at home, you get High Templar out, and you can kind of parry the Vipers if they do come in with those Lurkers. There is a world where you can defend. Going for the same Robo timing, scouting the Hive, knowing that you've been preempted, you can fall back and play a macro game behind it. Because you're getting the upgrades, you're still expanding, you're taking a fourth base. You don't need to play the all-in version of it or the really timing attack-centric version of that we saw from Creator in game number 1.
So, in what has been a very slow game, you know, we're seeing that fourth base be taken, fifth base not quite yet. here for Dark. The 4th base is being seized here by Creator. Dark has started his 5th base. I started that sentence just a little bit too soon.
Oh. And it's Hydraling Bane coming in from Dark.
Yeah, so Dark actually wants to come in here and just basically plow through the 4th base. So he's going to try to hit him in development. We were kind of talking about, like, well, will this game look like Game 2? And if so, will the push be better? It's actually going to be the Zerg attacking first.
Yeah, and Creator is kind of going for the same build, but this does feel a little bit slower than he did in game number 2. The thing is, should he get those 2 Colossi online before the Hydras and Lings hit, it's one of the perfect answer units to this timing attack if you're able to get them in a good position. Link Stalkers, they don't take a lot of damage from the Banelings should they come in, and Colossi do a great job of cleaning up both Hydras and the Lings on the ground.
Yeah, he needs to activate these Oracles here.
Oh, he's actually just playing it very patiently. I like that he saved the energy.
Yeah, I was like, you got to turn that on. A lot more Lings are being made here.
Oh, it's Disruptors coming in. I think if he identifies that this is going to be a Hydra Ling timing attack, he will probably go into Colossi instead. I feel like Colossi is just the better unit in this situation. It's 1 Disruptor into Colossus, okay. I like that the more reliable splash damage is coming in. And Dark is not droning, by the way. He's going for +2. Hydra speed, Baneling speed, and a ton of Lings. So just like you said, Stasis, he's going to be hammering down that 4th base.
Ooh.
The Stasis catches a lot of Lings moving into the center of the map in this stage of the game. I think alarm bells should be firing here for Creator. He should have an idea that this is coming. More shield batteries and cannons getting morphed in.
A lot of Banes. So about a minute from now, there's going to be more damage available to the Zerg in the game than there will be for the rest of the game. So this is like really the most important moment.
This is almost an all-in coming in from Dark.
Yeah.
He has to get a lot of damage done.
And if Protoss can parry this, then Protoss is going to be in a very healthy position in the late game. But there's also a chance that this just flattens Creator.
Yeah, it's a lot of Banelings coming in, Tasteless. Already 1 Colossus out. There is a lot of energy on these sentries, plus Stasis Traps already thrown down to retreat to for Creator. Creator, keep in mind, he already has a lot of shield batteries and cannons. Dark now coming in. First Stasis Trap only catches a couple of Lings. The second one as well. Doesn't get the big shot off. The Disruptor shot catches nothing too, but the army here for Creator's in such a good position that Dark is just getting thwarted. This timing attack fell flat on its face.
Yeah, he shut that down so well. I mean, almost nothing was even killed. I was kind of imagining this is just a bunch of burning Protoss buildings and, you know, Creator barely survives. He's totally shut this down.
Yeah, the Baneling's almost coming in here and kind of a Hail Mary to try and catch some probes. Only one of them goes down. And now Creator is going to have Archons, Colossi with Thermal Lance and a ton of Stalkers on the ground to launch a counterattack. I would be surprised if we didn't see him go for a Warp Prison because Dark right now back at home, he is scrambling. He's throwing down the Infestation Pit because he knows he needs to get Vipers out as soon as possible. That's the only answer, really, that he can go for the tech of Creator. And that means the Creator is going to have this massive window where he can hit a timing attack on the 4th or the 5th base, should he decide to seize that opportunity. And I think him moving forward with the Stalkers like this, he's going to know that he has that chance.
Okay, nice surround here, but I think the Creator tanked that just the perfect amount to allow a lot of those Oracles to just mow that down. Here comes the push. Now, this should be harder for Dark to defend, but we really just need to watch where the Banelings connect.
Yeah, Hive Tech only about halfway done. Lurker Tech halfway done as well. And keep in mind, those Lurkers, up until they get their Hive Tech upgrades, they aren't that great against Protoss on the ground. So even if Dark is able to buy enough time by sacrificing a base for those Lurkers, it's really going to come down to the Vipers. He needs to get them out if he wants to stop this push. I don't think his army on the ground, unless he has the perfect spread, can do it.
Okay, a push coming here. Banelings coming from the bottom. Are they going to collect on these Colossi? Oh!
It's a really good arc coming in for Dark, actually. Oh my god, I cannot believe how well he traded that out.
That could not have been better.
I mean, we were saying Dark needs basically a miracle engagement to come in, but he basically got it.
Yeah, there was literally nowhere the Colossi could be where they wouldn't take the Baneling damage. Like, it was actually a perfect surround.
That was insane. Dark almost baited him into attacking the 4th base in the top side and then setting up for this huge swing of Banelings on the bottom. And that didn't spell the end of the game here for Creator by any means. If anything, the game is still relatively even, but that's going to mean that Dark now has enough time to get the Vipers out. Well, to get the Lurker upgrades, should he decide to go for them.
he's got a lot more oxygen now.
Yeah, he basically...
Like, he's going to be able to do kind of whatever he wants for the time being. Now, Creator's just going to go for a later game. He's going to expand. He's going to disengage, other than sending small units like these Zealots to come in here and harass.
Creator's going to be kicking himself a little bit because that was a golden opportunity to potentially close this game out. I think if he had a little bit better scouting, if he had Revelation with those Oracles to see the full army spread of Dark, that he can take the fight that he needs. He can retreat into a corner, he can drop the force fields, and he can prevent those Banelings from getting the connections that they did. Instead, we're basically reset. Kratos and Zerg both tried a timing attack in the mid game. Both timing attacks failed almost spectacularly, but in such a way that the game is equalized.
Lings are going to come down here. I don't see anything to defend. He actually might be able to pick off this Nexus. Well, a Warpin and Stalkers are going to deny that. The Warp Prism's very low on HP, so it can't even get into that position if the... Oh, well, I guess there's a second one coming in here. But the other one can't get in there at all, so that's basically a dud.
Creator also going for a double expand right now, is also getting Warp Prism speed, so I love this coming in from Creator. I'm hoping we see a Stargate thrown down by him relatively soon. Once he stabilizes on the ground, I want to see additional Stargates. I want to see a Fleet Beacon, because if you commit to a pure ground army against Dark, that's one of the toughest opponents in the world to beat with pure ground if they have Lurkers. I mean, maybe only Serral is harder in the world to stop than a Dark that has his full tech tree unlocked with Nidus Canals, with Lurkers, with Vipers, and with a full 5-6 base economy set up. I'm very scared for the late game of Creator if he doesn't go into that tech, but for now, instead, he's just focusing on the ground, at least up until he's maxed on, what is this, 6 bases. And now he's going for the Stargate, the Fleet Beacon.
So we're going to go into Supreme late game. This is post-failed push. And again, I think Creator is really good at this. Now, Banelings and Lings are going to be on the side here to hit this base. Oh, he didn't see that.
Yeah, just barely missed him.
Okay.
Nidus Canal in the natural expansion gets spotted by Creator instantly.
Yeah, he's going to see this. The Immortal can just deny this. There's no way for it to come in. He also sees these Banes. Oh, great shots. Not a single Bane going to connect to a single target. Hold position Lings aren't even going to get a single probe. So right now, Creator is playing the game of his life as far as shutting down anything that would curb growth in this super late game PvZ.
Yeah, I feel like Creator and Stats are just the two best players in the world at doing this, splitting off their armies in such a way that it's really hard for Zerg to find any window or any angle of attack unless they commit a huge amount of resources. And
now, with the carriers coming out here, it's a little bit like Brood Lords, where like they're very strong and they're hard to fight head on, but you can kind of just play keep away. Another Nidus is going to come here in the main.
Oh, Creator needs to spot this. Oh. He needs to stop this Nidus from getting set up in the main base. Okay, he does see it.
Okay.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah.
Honestly, for Creator, I wouldn't mind him throwing down some cannons just in the corners of his base right now.
Yeah, I think that's actually a smart idea.
Because Dark, he needs to trade out this army. He needs to do it well. He has basically no Hydra. He has no Hydralisks at all. He has no anti-hero except the 4 Queens.
Yeah.
So these Lurkers need to find damage. The
he has to like devolve
Lings,
the Lurkers back into Hydras.
Yeah. Once the carriers are out, this is really Dark's window to get big damage done with the ground army that he has before the carriers reach critical mass. And the first carrier is about to enter the field now. But Dark has been able to pull Creator apart a little bit now. He's getting damage done. The 6th base was taken out. 25 probes in total also falling. Now Creator with 90+ workers. Oh, the Nidus Canal popped in the natural expansion, but Creator actually in a really good position to deal with this. Dropping down Storms, coming in with the Immortals from this angle. I mean, the carriers are going to be out in a moment. These Lurkers should get cleaned up.
I mean, the Lurkers, they're only going to be able to go so far, right? Now, 33 probes is a pretty big kill. Oh, it's too bad the DT can't get in there because of the Overseer.
Looks like it's try anyway.
Yeah, it gets fished in there anyways. But these Lurkers are going to go down.
That's an expensive trade here for Dark.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of gas.
And I think Creator is actually still hiding the carrier tech. I think that might be a conscious decision.
Yeah, no, I think it's very deliberate state. I think the idea is basically he wants to make it look like he's trying to recreate the push again. And, oh, there's a Lurker down here too. I didn't even realize this.
Yeah, with the Dark Templar, just 2 stealthy boys hanging out.
Yeah, 2 invisible boys.
Well, Storms drop right now. Creator should be able to take down this expansion.
So the carrier is just in the back. I think this is eventually just going to be revealed here. Oh my God!
It's getting so much done.
How many kills on this Lurker?
0. I think it was just the Lings and the Banelings that got all the damage done earlier.
Yeah.
But it's denying the mining for
There's
so long.
not very other times I go, how many kills in this unit? And it's 0. Okay, I think that's a first here for this GSL.
This is the Warp Prism. This is the caster
yeah.
version of the Warp Prism getting sniped. By the way, it was a little bit funny that Creator went for the recall to deal with that. And I don't know if it was intentional, but he recalled the carrier as well. So the tech has been fully revealed.
Yeah.
There are Hydras on the map. Vipers will be joining them shortly, but still there's enough on the ground for Dark to be able to take down this expansion again. It does get canceled. Creator is going for +2 air weapons and a Mothership. Actually, the Hydra's able to focus down that carrier. I thought that was going to get away for sure. But it is so important for Creator that he's able to reach critical mass with the carriers in the sky. And oh, watch out. That carrier might also get sniped. Very low on HP. It is going to fall. A little bit sloppy micro coming in from Creator right now. But still, the standing army, it is potent, Tasteless. 15 more Hydras are getting replaced, but right now, not that many on the ground, and 4 carriers in total paired with these Colossi and the Storms. This base over here at 1 o'clock might once again get taken out. There aren't even that many lurkers left. Only one? Only one lurker at the 4th base. Dark has traded so many of them out.
Okay, he's moving in. Dark has to hang on here.
It's all about the abducts right now here for Dark.
Okay, so he's going to go right into the heart.
Okay, surround coming in from Dark with Hydras and Lings. The firepower really not that much.
Yeah, he doesn't pull this carrier back. What? Okay, well, that actually still lasted a little bit longer than I thought.
That might just be it.
That's going to be it. GG.
Wow.
Creator is killing it. He beats Dark. He moves on. He might win this GSL.
That is so exciting.
That's
Creator
so
beating
cool.
one of the best Zerg players we have here in the GSL. Dark going down in the late game after Creator failed to push. In game number 3, he's able to fight back. I mean, Dark just overextended a little bit, and Creator did not lose his cool. All right, he's going to advance to the round of 4. Dark looks almost a little bit shaken up after that game.
Well,
I
gotta say that was a very refreshing late game PvZ. I mean, normally Protosses fail with pushes and then they just they fizzle out.
And the crowd also exploding in cheers here for Creator.
Creator can't even hide his smile.
I mean, as we've seen time and time again, he's a player that just has his heart on his sleeve. This win means so much for him. Let's go to the interview now with Creator. Well, Creator, you made it to the semifinals. That was a tough series, and you only dropped 1 match on your path to the semifinals. How are you feeling? And Creator says, well, I'm feeling really happy, and honestly, in the last map, I felt like I was in such an advantageous position, but I kind of threw away. So after that, I just didn't give up. I tried to maintain myself in that game, and I was able to close out the win. Well, today you played against Hero and Dark in Series number 1 and Series number 2, the favorites to get out from this group, but you're able to beat them both. Creator's like, yeah, honestly, after taking both of the top dogs down, I've gained a lot of confidence. And now that I've qualified both for the GSL Round of 4 and the Esports World Cup, there's only real one objective for me, and that's becoming a champion. Well, Creator, if you want to win the GSL, you're going to have to get through Maru in the semifinals. How do you feel about that? Hey, Maru, you're watching this right now. Go easy on me. I thought he was going to call Maru out for a second, but he's like, oh, shit. Well, Creator, honestly, today your mentality seemed a lot stronger. You didn't get shaken up by any of the losses. You were very focused. You're able to beat the strongest Protoss in the GSL, the strongest Zerg in the GSL. Now you have to go up against the strongest Terran. How's your PBT? Well, balance-wise, I feel like Protoss has gotten a little bit better than before as a result of the most recent patch, so I feel like it's a lot easier for me to come into these games with a winning mindset. You know, at the studio today, Creator, there were a lot of fans that were cheering for you to win. Any words you want to say to them? Well, to my fans, both in the studio and around the world, I am truly thankful. Thank you so much for supporting me.
설레는 마음으로 열심히 준비할 테니까
We're going to have the
응원
GSL
많이
finals in
와주시면
Sangam
감사하겠습니다.
next week. It's going to be a really exciting time. Come there, cheer for me.
4강 경기장에서 뵙겠습니다. 축하드려요.
And
감사합니다.
I hope to have even better performance there against Mario.
Hell yes. We'll be right back, guys. DRG vs. Hero coming up next.
Strong. 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 Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now.
God, I'm low. God, my soul. All of my thoughts be dark like coal. Face down in the water, I float. I try to speak my mind, but I choke. I'm on a tightrope. Tired, I can't cope. No lying, no hope. The lying might show. Up to the party, y'all don't want smoke. Energize the body, raise up the army. Right now, tell me who you are, get in the car. Right now, reach for the stars, I want it all. Right now, tell me who you are, get in the car. Right now, reach for the stars, I want it all. Right now, tell me who you are, get in the car. Right now, reach for the stars, I want it all. Right now, just into the car, fighting a war. Right now, we shitting on y'all, I'm in the storm. Right, put your feet on the ground, look around. It's the siege and we back in your town, burning it down. You've been waiting too long for the sound. Time is now. Got you hanging on every single word, verb and now. Give you what you been waiting for now. What you praying for? This the type of we slaving for. Get you another hit. I know you craving more. I'm in this, but they go Super Saiyan boy. I am a higher being. Whole world at my command. I got the whole damn planet here in the palm of my hand. Hey. Watch out, back out, wait up, might wake up, stay up, they gon' get it.